In the treacherous waters of the White Ridge Strait, a group of fishermen were out at sea during a violent storm. Their nets were heavy with the day's catch, and as they hauled them aboard, the deck was soon filled with large thrashing fish. The men loosened the ropes, scattering their catch into holding tanks, but then something unusual caught their attention. Inside one of the tanks, a massive figure was moving slowly, unlike any fish they had ever seen before. At first, they thought it was just another oversized sea creature, but then several fish were suddenly thrown out of the tank as if something powerful had struck them from below. Fear quickly spread among the crew. Each man armed himself, some with fishing rods, others with axes, standing tense and ready. They circled cautiously, not knowing what kind of monster they were dealing with. Without warning, the mysterious creature lunged. Its tail whipped out with terrifying speed, striking Huang Yinan, who was clutching an axe. He was thrown violently to the deck, gravely injured. His comrades rushed forward, trying to fight the thing off with long rods, pushing it back until it retreated into the dark confines of a nearby shipwreck that had been floating in the waters. Breathing heavily, the men felt a temporary sense of relief, though worry for Huang Yinan's condition lingered. The captain wasted no time and called for emergency medical assistance. When the storm finally cleared, the sea grew calm. But from the shipwreck, an eerie sound began to echo across the waters. A haunting melodic singing that none of them could explain. The strange song seemed to hypnotize the men. One fisherman, unable to resist the lure of the melody, slowly drifted toward the shipwreck's hatch, his hand almost reaching to open it. But before he could, a helicopter descended from above, whipping the sea into chaos. From it emerged a heavily armed unit known as the Seabass Assault Team. These soldiers were not ordinary Coast Guards. They were clearly trained for something far more dangerous. The captain, showing no sign of surprise, approached the wreck directly. He ordered his men to open the hatch. Inside, at the very bottom of the tank, lay the unknown creature that had attacked earlier. Its form was clearer now, a being with scales shimmering faintly in the dim light and a long, elegant fish tail. Rather than fear, the captain responded with calculated calm. He commanded his soldiers to sedate the creature with a strong anesthetic. Once subdued, it was locked inside a specially designed iron container and airlifted away by the military. As the helicopter departed, the sea rippled once more. Not far from the boat, another fishtail sliced through the water before disappearing into the depths. The next day, inside a top-secret military facility, the creature was revealed again, now confined to a giant reinforced tank. Scientists and soldiers surrounded it, studying it carefully. And it was here that the truth was confirmed. The mysterious being was not just a sea monster, but a legendary mermaid, proof that the myths of the ocean were real. Meanwhile, far from the base, a man named Dexiong was driving home late at night. The road was quiet, until suddenly, a young woman appeared out of nowhere, stumbling directly into his path. He hit the brakes just in time, narrowly avoiding a collision. The girl looked frightened and disoriented, as if she didn't belong in this world. Before Dexiong could get answers, she turned to leave. But strangely, her steps faltered, and she seemed unable to walk properly. Concerned, Dexiong approached her to ask if she needed help. Before she could respond, the girl collapsed unconscious on the ground. Acting quickly, Dexiong took off his jacket, wrapped it around her trembling body, and carefully placed her inside his car. He immediately noticed something unusual. Her breathing was rapid and unsteady, almost unnatural. Alarmed, he phoned a doctor to explain the situation, and the doctor promised to come and examine her. Not knowing what else to do, Dexiong brought the mysterious girl to his home, placing her gently on the sofa. Hours later, she awoke. As her eyes opened, she looked around the room with childlike curiosity. Every object, every detail of her surroundings seemed alien to her, as though she were experiencing the human world for the very first time. And thus begins the unraveling of a hidden truth. While the military keeps a mermaid locked inside a secret base, another mysterious girl, possibly connected to the creature, has found her way into Dexiong's life. After waking up in Dexiong's home, the strange girl began to explore her surroundings. On the table, she noticed a seashell. She picked it up carefully, held it close, and inhaled its scent as if it carried memories of the ocean. De Xiong, trying to be kind, reassured her that he could help her return home. But the girl did not respond. She couldn't speak. Instead, she expressed herself in a different way. A soft, haunting melody escaped her lips as she sang, her voice carrying the same mystical tone that had once lured fishermen at sea. But before the song could finish, a sharp knock came from the door. It was the doctor De Xiong had called earlier. When De Xiong went to answer, the girl vanished. By the time he returned to the room, she was gone. That night, the girl found refuge in an abandoned fishing boat by the shore. She curled up there and fell asleep. The next morning, sunlight spilled across her face as she woke. She playfully touched her bare feet, still adjusting to life on land. Suddenly, a mouse scurried across the floorboards. Without hesitation, she caught it swiftly, her reflexes proving she wasn't an ordinary girl. Afterward, she set out again, wandering the streets with wide-eyed curiosity. She had no clear destination, only an instinct driving her forward. Wrapping herself in a sweater she had found, she blended in, at least from a distance, with the people around her. On her path, she passed a small boutique where an elderly woman was sweeping the floor. The girl stopped, sensing something familiar. The old lady turned and froze. Her eyes widened in shock. She recognized something about this girl, perhaps her face or the aura she carried. But instead of speaking, the old woman's expression remained unreadable, filled with hesitation and disbelief. Just then, De Xiong happened to drive by. He spotted the girl immediately, standing in front of the boutique. Alarmed, he pulled over, rushed out of his car, and hurried to her side.
But before he could press for answers, the old lady kept her silence. It seemed as if she knew something about the girl, yet refused to reveal it. The girl, however, was restless. She turned and ran toward the sea. Her heart was pulling her back to the water. On the shore, she discovered a fishing boat with the name Arctic Star painted on its hull. Her eyes locked on the fishing nets piled aboard. In that instant, a memory surfaced. The day before, she and her sister had been swimming freely in the deep ocean. But tragedy struck. The same kind of fishing net had snared her sister and dragged her away. The girl herself had escaped, struggling ashore in search of her sibling. What she didn't know was that her sister was now imprisoned in a giant military fish tank, far from her reach. Alone and desperate, she relied only on instinct to guide her. While wandering along the rocky coast, she injured her foot on a sharp stone. Wincing in pain, she stumbled but quickly adapted, slipping into a pair of shoes she discovered nearby. Moments later, her gaze caught something peculiar. A toy helicopter lying in the sand. Her eyes widened. This wasn't just a toy to her. It reminded her of the very helicopter that had stolen her sister away from the ocean. Holding it tightly, she made a silent vow to continue the search. Later, while watching television from outside a shop window, she observed humans naming themselves. She absorbed this new custom and chose a name for herself, Lien. For the first time, she had an identity in the human world. Carrying the toy helicopter as a clue, Lien approached a man, hoping he could help her. She showed him the toy, trying to explain with gestures that she was looking for her sister. The man seemed willing at first, even opening his car door and letting her sit in the passenger seat. But Lien's innocence blinded her to his true intentions. Instead of helping, the man drove her away from the city into a secluded forest.
His smirk betrayed his thoughts. He believed she was just a helpless girl who had wandered too far from home. What he didn't realize was that Lien was not human at all. She was something far more powerful. And by luring her into the forest, he had unknowingly provoked a being with the strength and instincts of a predator. This was no ordinary lost girl. This was a mermaid, an ocean-born creature who, when threatened, could unleash her darker, more dangerous side. The man thought he was the hunter, but soon he would discover he was the prey. Do you believe mermaids really exist? Most people would laugh at the thought, but in this story, that mystery becomes terrifyingly real. A bald scientist makes the shocking discovery of a real mermaid. Instead of setting it free, he keeps it trapped inside a giant reinforced water tank for research. His obsession isn't beauty or myth, it's biology. He wants to unlock the secrets hidden in the mermaid's body. To test its potential, the scientist instructs his assistant to extract genetic material from the mermaid and inject it into a paralyzed laboratory mouse. The results are beyond imagination. Within just 24 hours, the once disabled mouse regains full mobility. It runs, climbs, and shows no lingering symptoms. The scientist realizes he may have stumbled upon a medical breakthrough that could revolutionize the world. Regeneration, healing, maybe even immortality. But instead of sharing this miracle, he keeps it hidden, driven by greed and ambition. Meanwhile, far away, another mermaid named Ryan is desperately searching for his missing sister. Ryan isn't like ordinary sea creatures. His intelligence is sharp, and his body is unique. On his journey, he meets a man nicknamed Bear, who seems willing to help. But Bear's kindness hides ulterior motives. Together with his girlfriend, known as Black Girl, Bear works at the Ocean Research Center, a facility obsessed with studying rare marine life. To them, Ryan isn't just a lost brother. He's a new species, a specimen unlike anything recorded in science. Curious about Ryan's capabilities, Bear subjects him to an IQ test. He shows Ryan 25 different patterns and scrambles them in random order. To his shock, Ryan immediately rearranges them correctly. His intelligence far exceeds human averages. But that's not all. Bear's examination reveals that Ryan's body weight, despite looking slim, is a staggering 177 kgs. His bones are incredibly dense, his heart rate unusually low, and his biology seems almost designed for survival under crushing ocean pressure. Ryan isn't just intelligent. He's physically superior in ways humans can't comprehend. While this is happening, Captain Fat Tiger, the leader of a ship called the North Star, is also searching for the missing mermaids. Through his own investigation, he uncovers a chilling truth. Ryan's sister, along with another captured mermaid, has been taken by the military. They've been transferred in secret to an underground base. Fat Tiger follows a lead from a distress message sent by one of the captives. Tracking the phone number, he discovers it belongs to a nurse. Suspicious, he and his partner tail her movements. Their surveillance pays off. They follow her car all the way to a heavily guarded secret base. But before they can approach, armed soldiers rush out, forcing them to retreat. Something sinister is clearly happening inside. That night, within the walls of the base, chaos unfolds. The mermaids that were once captured and drugged are kept under strict military watch. But alarms suddenly blare in the facility, startling one of them awake. Weak from constant injections, the mermaid rips the needle from his arm and stumbles out of the room, fighting through pain and disorientation. As he turns a corner, he collapses, only to find a woman already lying unconscious on the ground. At the same time, Fat Tiger sneaks close to the base. Sensing danger, he decides to intervene. Seeing the woman in distress, he drags her away, narrowly avoiding the patrolling soldiers. His instincts tell him something horrifying is being done to both humans and mermaids inside this facility, and he knows the truth must come out. But what exactly is the military hiding? And will Ryan ever find his sister before it's too late? This sets the stage for a tense battle between greed-driven science, secret military experiments, and the fight for freedom by the mermaids, creatures who may be the key to humanity's greatest medical discovery or its downfall. After the daring escape from the secret military base, Captain Fat Tiger manages to steal the identity card of the unconscious woman and uses it to drive safely past the checkpoints. For the moment, he slips away unnoticed. But his mind is unsettled. What exactly is going on inside that base? The very next day, unable to resist the pull of curiosity and duty, Fat Tiger returns. Using his skills, he accesses the surveillance system. What he witnesses shocks him to the core. On the grainy footage, the mermaid, once locked helplessly in a giant tank, does the impossible. With a surge of strength, the creature rises upright, balancing on its powerful tail. And then, in a terrifying display, it propels itself out of the water, soaring as if gravity itself cannot hold it down. In the darkened corridors of the facility, chaos erupts. Soldiers, scientists, and staff scramble for safety, but they are no longer hunters. They are prey. The mermaid moves swiftly and mercilessly, its tail flashing like a blade in the shadows. Fat Tiger switches to another camera feed, only to catch sight of a mysterious woman wandering the halls. Alarmed, he races to the scene in person. What he finds deepens the mystery. A severed fish tail, lying on the cold floor. When he picks it up, the flesh disintegrates in his hands, crumbling into ash. The implication is horrifying. Were the mermaids shedding their forms? Or were they becoming something even more dangerous? Before he can process it, Fat Tiger's phone rings. On the other end is Huang Mao, his longtime ally. But his voice is weak, trembling. Huang Mao has been badly injured. He explains that he drove through the night, trying to escape the military's relentless pursuit. But his strength is gone. Barely holding on, he arranges a final meeting with Fat Tiger at Libby Beach. Meanwhile, events are taking a darker turn for Ryan. Having been away from the ocean for too long, his body begins to fail. His once smooth skin is drying and cracking. Every breath feels heavier than the last. Ryan knows the truth. If he doesn't return to the sea soon, his lungs will collapse, and he will suffocate on land. But Ryan refuses to give up. His sister is still out there somewhere, and he will not abandon her. Seeing Ryan's determination, Bear provides him with a necklace, a seemingly kind gesture. Hidden within it, however, is a tracking device. Bear knows that no matter where Ryan goes, he'll be able to follow. At that moment, Fat Tiger alerts Bear. Huang Mao has been found, but his condition is critical. He urges Bear and his team to head to Libby Beach immediately. Ryan, frail and gasping for breath, insists on going as well. Though every step is agony, his heart pushes him forward. He cannot die without knowing the fate of his sister. When Bear, Black Girl, and their group reach the beach first, the tension is palpable. Car approaches in the distance. Bear and Black Girl rush forward, trying to intercept. Inside, Ryan's strength finally collapses. His vision blurs, and his chest feels like it's caving in. But then, through the window of the passing car, he sees her, his sister. The sight floods him with a final surge of strength. Summoning every ounce of energy left in his body, Ryan throws himself against the door, forcing it open. He stumbles out, determined to reach her. In that single, desperate moment, he overcomes exhaustion and pain. And then it happens. After countless trials, betrayals, and brushes with death, Ryan and his sister are finally reunited. Tears fill their eyes as they embrace. But Ryan's body can no longer endure life on land. His breathing falters, and his weight collapses against her. Without hesitation, his sister lifts him, carrying him toward the sea, their true home. As the waves crash around them, their human forms dissolve, and the truth of their existence shines through. They transform fully into mermaids once more, their tails glimmering in the water under the fading light. With one final look back, they dive deep into the ocean, leaving behind the chaos of human greed, science, and war. At last, Ryan and his sister return to the boundless freedom of their world beneath the waves. A place where no cage, no scalpel, and no soldier can ever touch them again.